What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NFL DFS contenders for FanDuel's 4-game NFL slate. Now, I know FanDuel has it split up into a 2-gamer on Saturday and a 2-gamer on Sunday, but they do have the full 4-game slate, and the contests look pretty good. So I am breaking this down as if all 4 games are on the same slate. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comment section, who are your favorite plays on FanDuel for this weekend's slate? I'm rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Cam Akers, Davante Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Clyde Edwards-HELAIRE. Who will be the top 5 plays, the favorites for FanDuel's slate? It's time to find out. Coming in at number 5, my number 1 contender on DraftKings, $9,000 Alvin Kamara. He's just a little bit too expensive to really get to the top end here. 18.3 fantasy point projection. Slight favorites for the Saints with a 52-point total. Tough defensive matchup. Tampa Bay, number 1 against the run, number 5 against the pass in Football Outsiders DVOA metrics. Kamara goes for north of 25 fantasy points 25% of the time. He shows up in the optimal 30.6% of the time. I really do like getting to Alvin Kamara, but his price on FanDuel, wildly different than it is on DraftKings. So you do have to free up a little bit of additional salary. I don't think that that's a huge problem. He can still get into my top 5, but he's a little bit behind the rest of these guys in the top 4. Now, if you're rostering Kamara, you probably have to roster someone like Devin Singletary, 5,700, projected for 11.5 fantasy points. Bills taking on the Baltimore Ravens. This game is in Buffalo. They're 2.5-point favorites, 49-point total. And the Ravens are like the 12th best run defense, the 10th best pass defense. I think that fits pretty well for Devin Singletary's skill set. You're not looking for the massive upside game. He only goes for north of 25 fantasy points 4.5% of the time. What you're looking for here is salary savings. By rostering Devin Singletary, it opens you up for the Alvin Kamaras, the Tyreek Hills, the Stephon Diggs, the Davante Adams of the world, the guys with the big time price tags. Singletary makes your lineups work on a 4-game slate. So I think he's really difficult to avoid, and that's why you see Singletary ranking ahead of Alvin Kamara. It's just simply easier to build an optimal lineup with the cheap $5,700 Singletary in comparison to the $9K Alvin Kamara. So my recommendation, split the difference. $7,800 for my number 3 guy, Aaron Jones, projected for 15.7 fantasy points. Packers are 7-point favorites. It's a 45.5-point game total. So this is the lowest total on the slate. And the Rams defense is rugged. 3rd against the run, 4th against the pass. I don't think it matters all that much. Whether the Packers are out in front or sort of playing from behind, Aaron Jones is going to be involved, whether that's catching passes out of the backfield or just running it into the ground. I like getting to Jones. He's a salary savings off of Kamara. He's a salary pay up off of Singletary. Fits in that middle range. Goes for north of 25 fantasy points 14% of the time. Optimal lineup just shy of 35% of the time. I think that $7,800 salary is the perfect price point. That's why you see the tier. Jones, Singletary, Kamara. Now at number 2, we're paying up $8,500 for the number 1 tight end on this slate, Travis KELCE, 16.6 fantasy point projection, taking on the Cleveland Browns, and they're expected to put a beating on them. 10.5-point favorites, 57.5-point total, 19th against the run, 25th against the pass. Chiefs aren't worried about this Browns defense at all. They should shred it pretty easily. KELCE goes for north of 25, 15% of the time. That's a pretty big number for FanDuel. He's in the optimal 36% of the time. There's just too much projected scoring for the Kansas City Chiefs to ignore it. I mean, we're expecting probably 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. You're going to need to have a piece of Travis KELCE. And if he gets more than 1 touchdown, look out. A 10 for 102 TDs day is not out of the realm of possibility for someone like Travis KELCE. He doesn't get all the way to the top spot, but he is in number 2. But before we touch on the number 1 play of the weekend, be sure to hit that like button. That's the reminder. You know how much I love those likes. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the time we get to the Super Bowl, so your subscriptions matter. Help us out. Give us a little subscribe button hit. It helps us so much, guys. It doesn't do anything for you. You guys get to just know that our content is coming out. Easy peasy on your end. Click a button. That's a like, that's a subscribe. Finally, you got to follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. That is where I post all of my updates. NFL, for this sim, for the FanDuel sims, for the DraftKings sims, for the NBA. That is where you find it. So go to at Josh Engleman on Twitter. And finally, the number one contender for FanDuel's full 4-game slate, Michael Thomas. 7,200, projected for 15 fantasy points. 3-point favorites, 52-point total. I love the potential for scoring in this game. I expect Michael Thomas to see a ton of targets. You're worried a little bit about the defense. This is the number 1 run defense and the number 5 pass defense. It's legitimately scary taking on the Bucs, but I think Michael Thomas transcends matchup. He's just going to get more targets than most guys, and that raises the floor. Even on a site like FanDuel, where you only get a half point per reception. He goes for north of 25 fantasy points 16% of the time. He's in the optimal lineup 36% of the time. And ultimately, I think just because of the $7,200 price tag, he's a lot easier to get to. Alvin Kamara being $9K is drastically different. That's an $1,800 salary difference for Michael Thomas. He's easier to put in a lineup. He pairs really nicely with Aaron Jones and Devin Singletary if you really want to start paying up all over the place. So Michael Thomas, because of that price tag, is the number 1 contender on FanDuel for this weekend. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NFL DFS contenders on FanDuel for the full 4-game slate. I will be back again next weekend breaking down the NFL playoffs from a showdown perspective or from a FanDuel single game perspective. We're going to look at all the games, all 2 of them, and break them down for both FanDuel and DraftKings, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Good luck this weekend, and I will talk to you again for next weekend.